Another podcast on words Brits stole from French. Number one is louche. Louche comes from the French word that means cross-eyed or squint-eyed, and eventually gained a figurative meaning of shady or devious. It ultimately comes from the Latin word luscus, which means one-eyed. When being extremely judgmental about something, we are likely to narrow our eyes. In fact, sometimes that's all we need to do in order to communicate disapproval. And, without knowing it, we're expressing the history of louche. Louche means not reputable or decent, fishy.
The onstage hijinks are tinctured with a pinch of decadence. Don Giovanni's servant Leporello, the excellent Justin Welsh, wears a studded dog collar and a black motorcycle jacket. A dance sequence at Zerlina's wedding features gaudily costumed locals who resemble 2 a.m. refugees from a louche nightclub.
Like several other Russian oligarchs now under Western sanctions, Kirill is a billionaire. In fact, Kirill is a thoroughly corrupt billionaire. Kirill made his louche money during his time as Metropolitan of the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad, where he controlled cigarette smuggling. Even today, Kirill is known in some circles as the Tobacco Metropolitan.
Number two is reconnoiter. Reconnoiter is the less familiar form of reconnaissance. If reconnaissance means a preliminary survey to gain information, then reconnoiter means to go to a place in order to gain information. Unsurprisingly, it is most often used in military contexts.
Ongoing purges of Russian general officers for failures in Ukraine will likely further degrade Russian command and control. Russian forces conducted localized attacks and reconnoitered Ukrainian positions, did not make any advances.
Reconnoiter comes from the French word that means to recognize, based on the verb connaître, which means to know. So both recognize and connoiter literally mean to know again, according to their shared etymology. This French word is related to other English words, including recognize, cognizant, connoisseur, and the G in English words like recognize and cognizant was introduced by Renaissance scholars who wanted English to show the Latin ancestry of these French borrowings, and because the ultimate Latin root of these words is cognoscere.
To judge from the performance, the NSO would have offered a sundry, occasionally spicy impression of an American orchestra abroad, reconnoitering classical music's European, and homegrown, inheritance.
Number three is gauche. Gauche is a French word for left. Its secondary or figurative meaning was awkward or clumsy, and that is the sense that came into English in the 1700s. Gauche is only one of several words that betray a prejudice against left-handedness, and it came from a Germanic root and replaced the Latin-based word sinistra, the origin of sinister, to mean left in French. Words like adroit or dexterity with positive connotations come from words for right-handedness.
Parents usually steer clear of giving the impression they have a favorite. And the Queen, with her reputation for discretion, is unlikely be so gauche to let slip that she has hers.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
Well, also, it's the classic thing of, like, look at the bad guy and look at the good guy. The bad guy's in his huge palace, clearly sociopathic, probably unhinged, sitting in these unbelievably gauche rooms with these absurd tables. Then you have this guy who's just, like, a nice, warm Jewish guy being very open and personable. I don't think it's spin. I think that's actually what we've got here, and I'm not saying he's perfect in any way, but he's not, like, some weird politic manipulator. He is what he is, and that's why people voted for him.
The last one for today is au courant. Au courant is a fancy way of saying current in connection with both recent information and fashion. The French word courant comes from the verb courir, which means to run. The term has been dropped into English sentences since the mid-1700s, and its use has shown a variety of subtle distinctions in meaning. It can be used to mean aware, fully informed, cognizant, as in they seem to be au courant of everything that had happened. It can mean up to date or abreast, as in the site stays au courant through constant revision. It has the straightforward meaning of stylish or fashionable, as in au courant clothes.
Au courant information about refugees in Ukraine. More than 12 million people are believed to have fled their homes in Ukraine since the conflict began, according to the United Nations. Just over 6 million have left for neighboring countries, and another 6.5 million people are thought to be displaced inside the war-torn country itself.
Bohemian is fashion's go-to spring trend, and this season, it's awash with the floral and ethereal. But this season, designers have been mining influence from an au courant and more niche, Ukrainian national dress. Superimposing old-school glamour with an au courant touch, designer Lena Ivanova's collection comprises of her signature statement-making prints reconciled with the vintage-inspired, Vyshyvanka, array of easy chic separates.
Stay au courant of the latest news from the New Forward Language School. See you.